Well, welcome guys. Just a quick one here, really, to talk about the patch notes for the current release. That's Chapter 3 of Champions. And you can probably tell from the timestamp here, this is not going to be a very long one. It used to be that along with the main patch, which had, you know, its own map and its rewards and its blah, blah, blah to talk about, they also had, like, fairly big patch notes about the rest of the game, and I like to do one of these companion videos. However, we know they're a bit crunched at the moment. We know that Champions is really being released while everybody works out on the X-Pack, and I don't really think we can expect too much elsewise in the rest of the game. So these patch notes are tiny, but for consistency, I kind of want to run through it and just touch base with you guys. I'll be playing the patch myself today, and then you can expect a flurry of videos going forwards on my thoughts. I'm actually thinking of doing 2 this time about the story. One in terms of like a review and a recap, and another one I'm thinking of doing like a more long form playthrough type thing, so you guys can really enjoy some of my impressions on a longer form. So we'll see about that. Anyway, let's run on in. Here's what they say for today. That's the 9th of March, 2021. Living World, new release Champions, Chapter 3. This is setting up the finale, Chapter 4, and probably a segue into the next X-Pack. As the machinations of Jormag come to light, Dragon's Watch enters a war on 2 fronts. In the 3rd chapter of the Icebrood Saga's finale, join your allies and seek out a way to end the conflict. So for this release, and a lot of this information we've kind of gone over in pretty good detail on the video earlier in the week, in which we talked about the data mining and the trailer and did a big analysis there. 3 new Dragon response missions are available. Note that these missions will contain spoilers for the Champion story if you play them before they occur in your story journal. They've had this warning. They had this warning on the last patch as well. Is this actually possible, though, to jump ahead? I feel like whenever I hit up the Champions patch, I have to go through the whole thing to get to the new release. I guess it must be possible to jump ahead. I just don't know how to do it. Driven from their homes in Drizzlewood and beset anew by the Icebrood, some tribes of the secretive Tengu have taken up arms to join your cause. Meet with the Tengu representatives in the Eye of the North and join them on the battlefield in Dragon response missions. Complete daily achievements on their behalf to aid their efforts and earn rewards. As the world completes tiers of progress, everyone who helped will earn extra rewards from their representatives. So yeah, this is kind of the big bonus that's going on here. Now, this is actually kind of interesting. The Tengu we knew were going to be a part of the patch because of the trailer, and because they've been hinting at the Tengu quite a lot. Even before this kind of shift of focus and change of plans and the introduction of Champions as the finale, the Icebrood Saga clearly had some ideas for the Tengu, because yes, in Drizzlewood, there's the whole Tengu weapon collection and a little bit of the, I think there's the Quetzal influence there. There were Quetzal we could see there in Guild Wars 1 as well. So here we hear that we're going to be allying with the Tengu in this patch, and we know already from the trailer that one of these Dragon response missions takes place at the Dominion of Winds. But look at this, the Tengu we're allying with are the ones from Drizzlewood, not from the Dominion of Winds. So I still think that by the end of this release, I mean, I haven't played it yet, this is some last minute speculation here, I think by the end of this release, we still won't have forged a formal or proper alliance with the people inside there. I think they'll still give us a little bit of a cold shoulder, maybe a slight idea that maybe they'll open the gates one day, but really the Tengu that are helping us out are not from within. They are the Drizzlewood ones, and that leaves a lot of mystery and intrigue and hopefully stuff that they'll pay off on the expansion almost immediately following. So I was really surprised to see this right here in the patch notes. It kind of reveals, I think, of what they're doing with the story a little bit. They say, additionally, Ephraim's Flame Legion has joined the fight. Spurred by attacks in Fireheart Rise, look for their support in the Dragon response missions. I'm really hoping they do something fun with Fireheart. Fireheart is actually one of my favourite areas of Corteria. I know a lot of people have like negative memories of it because of all the time they've spent doing the escort to opening the dungeon back in the day, but I kind of have a lot of warm feelies about it, and I like that dungeon, I like the area of the world, I don't think it's been used too much. And the idea of finding Ephraim up there at the volcano is pretty interesting. New daily achievements for the new Dragon response missions have been added to the rotation. When entering the missions through either North or Surrogate, you'll see a prompt for quick access to uncompleted response mission dailies. So they kind of do that a little bit with the strike missions at the moment, right? Like when you choose to enter, it says, do you want to do today's priority strike? Not sure how this will look, but we'll get in there soon. Fixed a bug that prevented story mission state from displaying in private Dragon response missions. I was never hit with this bug, so I don't really know what the situation is there, but it's fixed apparently. Updated the direction players face upon using emergency packed waypoints in Dragon response missions to prevent players from facing odd angles. Updated unclear instructions regarding the Braziers and the Snowden Drifts response missions opening event. I never really found it that unclear, but it is an interesting event, usually at the start of the DRMs to get your morale boost. There are like 3 tasks to do. Quite often it's escort citizens or put out fires, stuff like that. In the Snowden one, and only there, they have kind of a unique idea, which is there's loads of braziers and you want to have lots of them simultaneously lit. So if you've got a party of 5, for example, you can kind of spread out, and every player holds, you know, control over like 3 of them or something, and you'll get it done really, really quickly and really easily. But I wonder what exactly is different. Maybe my whole understanding of it has been wrong, and that's what's been unclear about it. It's always made sense for me, though, and I've always been able to get the morale boost, but there you go. And finally, fixed a bug that caused Alkar's alchemical acid to grant more special action skill charges than intended. See, this is one of those funny patch notes where I'm wondering if it's actually just a nerf that they're referring to as a bug in a way. If you guys are out of the loop, the Delgamore Dwarves became one of the allies that we have with us randomly appearing in some of the Dragon Response missions last patch, and their special thing, you know, each ally has its own special thing. They give you Alkar's alchemical acid. This is actually a Guild Wars 1 skill, if you guys don't know. It's cracked armor application, and it's really good against destroyers. So you kind of get to use that again, but it was really strong. It's like a ground targeted acid. You smash it on the ground. It could destroy some of the bosses. I loved getting the Delgamore Dwarves. It felt like a free ride whenever you got them. So now you get less charges. The funny thing with this, though, is most of the time where the dwarves are, where they've set it up, sometimes like it's just a dwarf following you. Like if you go to Metrica Province, I'm pretty sure you can just speak to the dwarf and recollect the acid whenever you like. Or when you're defending the Ascon settlement in Gindaren Fields, the dwarves like set up this area where they'll deliver the acid to you, but it's right next to the boss. So in the middle of the fight, you just throw an acid, and then you go collect another one. Wait for the boss to do an animation where it moves, and then throw the acid down again. What I'm trying to say is it doesn't always matter how many charges there are, because you can usually refresh quite easily through other means, just by the way that the devs have designed it. So, I don't know, maybe if they disable reacquisition in combat, it becomes a little bit more balanced, but hey. And then finally, down here in the general section, usually my favorite part of these videos, but really, we only get one note this time, and it's to do with the new refill functionality they added to the Mystic Forge. Obviously, people have been asking for it for a long time, and they did fill it in, actually a while ago now, probably like 6 months or something. There's been some little tweaks and refinements as they've gone along. This one is that the Mystic Forge refill button will now automatically become enabled once Zomoros finishes forging. The process, players no longer need to even accept his reward. So that's actually way less clicks. I know that sounds kind of like silly, but imagine you're tearing up a ton of materials using your spirit shards, right? If you're doing that, having to click to accept the reward every single time, even though you know that it's already in your inventory, because you've seen it on the bottom right above the minimap, or maybe you even have the inventory open itself, and it's a completely arbitrary step to click accept. Even though you know that, it's suddenly loads of clicks if you're going through that like 1,000 times. Now, none of those will be there. You can just keep clicking refill forge, refill forge, refill forge, refill forge, and that's massive quality of life, I think, really. So I might even start looking to use my spirit shards. We'll see. I'm not too interested in a lot of those economy side things, but there it is. Rounding out with the important stuff here, there was a little bit of balance, but mostly of the bug fix sort. The only balance we've really seen, I didn't even talk about on my channel, in the past like 4 or 5 months, is some very minor PvP balance, which I'm happy to see, but doesn't really affect the majority of the player base. The Engineer had a tooltip update for AED, where super speed wasn't appearing if you had a certain trait, whatever. Rocket Boots fixed an issue that prevented underwater rocket boots from granting super speed when you have the Gadgeteer trait. And then this last one's a little interesting to me. It's another tooltip change for Power Wrench, where Power Wrench was saying it would increase the auto attack damage when you were using Toolkit. And they say that that's erroneous, and they've removed that off of the tooltip now. It's funny though, I remember that being a thing for a long time. Didn't they nerf it ages ago? I guess it just never got removed from the tooltip with that nerf a long time ago. I definitely remember reading that on the patch notes. Well, 90% confident. Guardian, Tome of Courage, fixed a bug that caused the skill to grant an extra stack of stability from the Indomitable Courage Grandmaster trait, even when the trait was not equipped. I think there's a little wiki typo right there. They've missed the T in Indomitable. Necromancer, Insidious Disruption. So this trait is whenever you CC someone, you apply one little bit of torment. It's not the most profound of traits, but it's kind of fun to, you know, like star 5 someone and apply torment or something. They fixed a bug that meant sometimes this trait would apply torment to you if you manage to CC yourself in some strange way. We've seen this in so many different iterations in so many places all over Guild Wars over the years. I think Nesma has actually been more prone to these kinds of effects than anything else. Signet of Undeath, they fixed a bug that caused this skill to have a different recharge duration while players were underwater. This again is something that's occurred a lot over the years, and I guess they've just managed to refine it out. Look how irritating and annoying underwater is for these devs. They constantly have to think about the underwater versions, and if they forget for even a second, there's going to be these weird incongruences. And finally, Warrior had charge. Fix a bug that's caused this skill to grant Fury with Roaring Reveal. Was not equipped. It shouldn't be giving Fury if you don't have the trait, and now it won't. That's it. There is this last little page. I guess it's Black Lion stuff. They've added some new volcanic throne, which is based on Ember Bay. And I don't know, I guess I kind of like that just for the interconnected feeling of everything, to make it feel like Ember Bay hasn't been long forgotten or something. Maybe this could have come out in Season 3 and they just never got round to it. I mean, shares weren't in the game at that time. But yeah, and then they have their March sales, all that stuff. You guys can pause. I'm not too interested. There's also some free boosters for you while you play the patch. So if you're logging in, if you're patching while you're listening to this video, don't forget, hit up the gem store and get your free items. There really is no catch to it. You just click collect and you get the item booster. The item booster is actually not bad. Consider using that one. So there you have it, guys. Just a quick little video on general patch stuff. I'll be back very soon once I've played the damn thing. I've just heard a rumor that Canuck might have a new voice actor, which would mean John DiMaggio's out. We're really interested in that. And we'll talk a lot more about the story, about the rewards, about how good the DRMs were, and do a bit of back and forth on our takes with it. Also, thanks for your patience with End of Dragons Daily, which did not come out the past 2 days. I guess I gave myself a bit of a weekend again. You should see that returning very soon. I'll try and get another one out tonight if I can. I don't know how absorbed I'll be by the patch itself, though, which obviously isn't really expansion related. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one very, very soon.